What's up, guys? It's Mike with Parallel Gaming. Today I got another match from our locals. On the left we have Kaido, and on the right we have myself playing EUSTASS Captain KIDD. Let's jump into the game. Flip over one Dawn, I'm going to play a Bonnie and pass. Opponent goes, he gets 2 Dawn for his turn, and he's going to play a blocker and pass. We get 2 more Dawn, go up to 3, draw, and I'm going to swing for 5 on my opponent, see if he'll take it, get some chip damage in, and he's going to take it. After straightening out his life, he adds it to his hand, falls down a little bit. I'm going to play a Rezo and pass. He's going to be at 4 Dawn now. He's looking through his hand. He's got that Who's Who down. I bet you it's going to come down. I might have watched this match or not already. Yep, comes down, gets rid of the Bonnie. Good play. Puts one under his leader and swings at me for 6. I'm going to take that hit, see it in a card. And then I'm going to go to 5 Dawn, draw. Top card of my deck will fall off, and I'll just try to recover from that embarrassment. Over here, counting my Dawn, I'll put 2 under my leader, swing for 7 at him, see if I can't get another life chipped out, but he's going to go ahead and chump that blocker. I play a second Rezo and pass. He's going to unrest, draw, and get 5 Dawn, because he lost one last turn from that Who's Who. He's looking at his hand. I see a 9-drop Kaido, a Black Maria, some pretty good stuff, a couple of 2K counter X-Drakes. He's debating what hit to do here. He doesn't have the Onigashima Island, which kind of stinks, you know. You need to see that island a lot of times. It makes games just better. You don't have to see it to win the game, but it sure does help. He's going to go ahead and get rid of that Black Maria, get another Dawn active that he lost from last turn playing that Who's Who, and then he's going to think on what to do next. Looks like he's going to play the 3K blocker, leave that 1 up, put it under Kaido, and swing at me for 6. I'm going to take that and go ahead and see another card for my life. Going to go ahead and unrest, flip over 2 more Dawn, draw for my turn. And I got 2 Rezos on the field. It's kind of awkward because you need to have 2 things rested to get another card from Rezo. So I'm going to have to swing with one Rezo and swing with the other if I want to draw a card. We'll see if that's what I decide to do. It looks like I'm going to put 1 under the first Rezo and just go for a basic 5K swing at his leader. So he's gonna block actually here with a small blocker. Probably would have just saved that blocker for a big swing. I'm gonna swing with the second Rezo, see a card off the top of my deck, and now he's debating if he wants to see that life, and he does. And then I'm gonna swing again with my leader, and he's gonna block that one with a 7K. And I'm gonna go ahead and pay 5, play Trafalgar Law, which is gonna bounce the Rezo and play it again so that he can't swing over it while it's rested. He's going to get 2 more Dawn, place those out in the field in little chunks, little piles, which people like to do. I like to keep all my Dawn together and try to count in my head. Maybe it's not super beneficial, but I like to see, I don't want my opponent to see what I'm counting, if that makes sense, but sometimes that does come to bite me back. He's going to swing with the Jack with the Dawn under it at my Rezo, try to get rid of it, and I'm debating, yep, I put a 2K on it because I want to keep that, keep dropping cards, keep drawing cards. Swings out with Kaido for 6. Let's see what I do here. I'm going to block with the Law. Go ahead and drop a Rezo to make the Law 7 so he doesn't die. And he goes ahead and drops the 6-drop King, blowing up one of my Rezos. And the turn's going to go back to me. I'm going to unrest, draw. Looking at my hand. He's fixing his board. I thought about swinging with Rezo, but then I'm like, I don't draw a card with that. That's not pretty good. I'm just going to drop the big boy himself. Big Kid, as we like to call him, the Menace. Use his effect to play a killer for free. Swing with the Rezo now that the Big Kid's suspended or rested, so I can draw another card. Put a Dawn under the killer, so I can try to get a card from him when I block next turn, say the Big Kid, and then I'm going to take a little shot with my leader for 5K, but he blocks it with another 2K from hand. And you notice I've been getting a lot of 2Ks from his hand, so that shows me that he doesn't have any other counters other than 2Ks, so that's pretty good for me. And he's going to drop play the 9-drop Kaido, return 5, and get rid of that killer that would draw me a card. Pretty good play. He could have killed the Law, which there's an argument for that, but he didn't want me to see a card. I probably would have gotten rid of the Law because it's just a bigger threat. And then, you know, just let me see that card from the killer and, you know, you get rid of a bigger threat because Law can potentially swing in for game. And it looks like he swings in with a leader over Rizzo. I let it happen because if you notice, I don't have a Dawn under my kid, so he doesn't have to swing at my kid. He's going to swing with king. I'm going to see a life, go down to 2, and then he's going to pass his turn. I'm going to get my last Dawn. So now I have 10 Dawn, kid down, and a law. This is a pretty good time for me to start building my gross board that just kid players love to do and just, watch their opponent just slowly wither away like lettuce in your fridge. I'm going to swing at that Kaido with kid at 13, just because I know he's got 3 cards in hand. He's got to dump all 3 of them to save that Kaido, potentially, unless he has 2 2Ks, which I'm fine with, getting rid of those, because then he won't have a hand and I just have to play around that 10K Kaido. But I go ahead and get rid of it. He blocks the king kill because I swing at it for 7. He gets rid of a queen in hand, and I put a Dawn under the killer and pass. He's gonna go look at his hand. I'm gonna fix my trash, shuffle my cards, because sometimes I can be an anxious player, fan out the cards so I can see how many I have in my hand. I like to be as transparent as possible when I'm playing this game. My opponent, just because it's information they can ask, and it's good to know that. But that's not every player. I'm just a nice guy, and sometimes I just do that because I'm too nice. It looks like he's gonna fiddle with his Dawn here. He's thinking about doing something with 4 or 3. Can't really see. Oh, it's 3. Yeah, because he had to return 5 last turn with a 9-drop Kaido. He's thinking real hard. What's he going to do? Is he going to take 2 swings at the big kid? Or is he going to play something and try to build a board and be defensive? Honestly, I think you go with the aggressive play. You see how many cards are in my hand. I think you just, put a few. The problem is if he puts a few on Kaido and then swings into my kid, I can counter it with, 2Ks, 1Ks, easy stuff like that. And I don't even have to waste my blockers on that, potentially with a 5-card hand, 4-card hand. I probably have enough to save that kid if you just swing with it at 8, maybe even at 9. So 10 is kind of the threshold. So he's just going to play the queen, put back a Dawn, draw 2 cards. He gets a Who's Who and an Onigashima, which neither of them really do any good when he just has Worn Dawn up. He can put the Dawn under the king, and try to swing at the big kid. And, I'll probably just block with that killer just to see a card. Because I do have 2 Okiku in the hand, which is not a lot of counter power. Looks like I have a Scratch Man of Poo too, so that's pretty good counter power. He discards a 3K blocker with queen, which I don't know. Maybe that's not the best play, but he doesn't know that I have the Okikus in hand. But if I do drop those Okikus in next turn when he does play the blocker, or this turn, he can't play that blocker because I'm just going to rest it down and go through no matter what. So it looks like I put a Dawn under a kid, swing for 9. He's going to see another life, and then I'm going to play a Bonnie, use her effect, and see the top 5. Grab a Supernova. Let's see, I'm thinking here. I'm going to grab a Law, put that in hand, shuffle them back down. You don't have to shuffle with Bonnie. You can put them back in any order. I just am a weirdo sometimes. It looks like I have 3 Okikus in hand, so not a lot of counter power, really. But I do have a board full of blockers. I'm going to put one under the killer, and then I'm going to swing 6 with Kid, because I want to keep that 5 open to play the Law. Looks like he gets rid of his queen, which kind of sucks for him. And then I'm going to play the Law, bounce the Bonnie back, and play the Okiku, which is super strong, So even if he would have kept that 3K blocker, there's not much he could have done with it, with the Kiku on staring at the other side of the board. That thing is just a menace if it sticks. Green specialty is just getting gross things on the board and controlling the board and just withering you down and just making you feel completely hopeless. It's a terrible playstyle if you're an opponent. It's a wonderful playstyle if you are not the opponent. It's a lot of fun. I've been playing Kid basically since the Super pre-release. It's just disgusting. Look at this board right now. I have 2 Laws, an Okiku, a killer, and a big kid. Yeesh. The only way he's going to be able to come back from that is if he plays a Wrath Kaido. And if you notice, he doesn't have enough Dawn to play a Wrath Kaido. And he has 7 Dawn. He's not going to have enough to play the Wrath Kaido next turn. unless somehow he can get Onigashima out now and start ramping. The problem is he's at 2 life. If I hit him once next turn, just once, and leave him at 1 life, he can't Wrath Kaido, because I can just come back with Kid, load all my Dawn on her, swing, pay 3, discard, and then swing again for just 2 giant swings that you have to have a massive hand to counter, out fully on one of those swings. And my opponent over here is making a Grocery list inside his head, debating if he wants to play Onigashima. He sees the Wrath Kaido in his hand, and he just knows he wants to play it, but he knows he can't. He's going to play the Who's Who, get rid of the Okiku. Not a bad play. Who's Who's fine, but I just don't... If it had counter power, I'd say it's super playable, but no, since it doesn't, I don't think it is. Because you have the 6-drop King, which kind of just does the same thing, but it's 7k beater. He's going to play down the Onigashima, swing 8 at the Big Kid, and I'm just going to block with the killer, draw a card, and he's going to pass the turn. I'm going to draw for my turn, put a Dawn under that Kid. It kind of just stays there. I'm going to swing at the King. He doesn't counter it out. He'd have to discard 2 cards from his hand to save it. I'm going to be a disgusting person and play the Bonnie, tap it, look for another killer. It's just like Bonnie finds killers after killer and Bages and just, wants to save Kid. That's all that Bonnie needs to do, too. I'm going to swing 9 with the leader. He's going to take it. Now that he's taken that life, he's at 1. He can't Wrath Kaido, which is unfortunate. And I'm going to play another killer, put another Dawn on it, and just be a gross human being and continue to watch my opponent wither away. I'm going to shuffle my cards. He's going to shuffle his cards. We're going to just fill the room with anxiety and pressure, just like the side of my field is. And then we're just going to stare at each other, compare grocery lists, talk about our crypto stocks, And, there's better things to do right now than figure out how to close this game out, because he's kind of just dead on field, and he knows it. But you gotta think your outs. You gotta figure out, how can I come back from this? And the answer is Wrath Kaido with like 9 cards in hand. He plays the 9-drop Kaido, killing one of the Trafalgar Laws. Now he's tapped out. He's got to use that guy to swing at the Kid, but I just block it, see another card, and he's got to pass. It goes to me. I have all this Dawn up. I have 2 beaters. I have a Bonnie. And right here, I'm just going to stick 1 under the Kid, swing at his life for 1. He tries to block it, realize he can't. I'm just going to load up the Kid, and that's going to be game. Guys, I appreciate you watching the video. Go ahead and comment, like, subscribe, do all that cool stuff. Follow us on social media, and I'm out. Peace.